demoted. All right, I don't tell people that a lot because I'm supposed to sell the dream, but that was one of the best things that happened to me. Sometimes, in times of adversity, in times when my butt was burning, I didn't get the recognition I wanted, that's what made me who I am. I remember I came to my first convention and nobody knew who I was. I swore that I was going to get called on stage. I was only in the company like 5 days. I come to convention, they start doing recognition. I was ready to get up off my seat like they were going to call my name, right? But I knew one day I'm going to be up there speaking. And I hope you guys feel the same way. I hope you don't look at us as if we're anything different. On the outside, we might look different. Who knows, all different shapes and sizes. But on the inside, it's kind of where everything's measured. It's the stuff that you can't see. I've never seen a resume that tells the truth about somebody. And so everybody in here, you know, what did the company say? 70% of the people in the company don't come back. So you already beat 70% of the people just coming back to the next convention and improving yourself. Does anybody still have their name tag on? They're the WFG. What does that say at the bottom? That means they don't even expect you to come back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Attendee means we don't even expect you to come back. Your tickets that you bought purchased the recognition for the people that are actually winning. So all those ticket sales ended up buying the awards for the people that are crossing stage. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I said, man, I ain't going to be an attendee. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm going to actually, when I'm in the nosebleeds and nobody knows who I am, I'm going to actually be up on that stage one day. I remember my first big event, or my second one, because in the first time I didn't really know what I was doing. I actually came to Vegas, I was gambling a little bit, I was doing all kind of crazy. Nothing else you're supposed to do. But I was only in the company 5 days, right? The culture, right? But my second big event, I was already writing out my SMD speech. Like I was like, I'm about to be up there talking about, it's not if, I'm about to be doing it, right? I'm going to write it out, and it got refined and it got changed and all that stuff, but I just remember knowing that I was going to make this thing happen. I heard a couple of our leaders say they're stubborn, and they're absolutely true because I got to deal with them all the time, right? But what they said was, I'm stubborn, like no matter how hard this is and how many times I got to keep getting back up after I get knocked down, I'm going to get up one more time and I get knocked down and I'm going to become the victor. And so that's what I'm like. I get down, I get right back up. I get beat down. See, what's a callus? Like Gabby was telling me yesterday, you got all these calluses on your hands. Because once you get beat up, your skin it forms another layer of skin to make it tougher so that the next time you come across that same obstruction, it's not going to cut through you. You got to get calluses on your brain in WFG. See, I've gone through more rejection than everybody else. That's why I got a bigger team. I've had more people quit on me than everybody else. That's why I got a bigger team. I've got more chargebacks than everybody else. That's why I got more clients. You see what I'm saying? I've had more of that, all that stuff happen than everybody else, but we just keep on going and keep on going because nothing's going to stop us. You know, you can demote me all the way back down to training associate. I'll come back with a vengeance. You can't stop a moving train. Come on. That's how you guys got to feel like this movement is. This is you guys are changing people's lives, but you're going to do so much more than just change your life. The impact and the ripple effect of what you're going to have. You don't even know what's going to happen. I don't even know what's going to happen. And some of the biggest teammates on your team, the biggest people in our company, they haven't even been found yet. So we see the Schwans, we see the Rajas, we see the Olsons, right? I think about it all the time when I think of Olson, Eric. I think he's what, 35 or 36 or something? Something. I don't know what he is, but I just know he's a couple years. Yeah, he's like 35 or 36. But Rich Stolly's been in the business longer than Eric's been alive. Right, so I think he's been in the business like 38, 39 years. So think about this. The biggest guy, the MVP, the top cash flow earner, wasn't even born when Rich Stolly signed his AMA. Yeah. So when people start to think, oh, we're going to recruit everybody, we're going to get saturated, the people that your biggest teammates haven't even been conceived yet. Maybe the husband and wife haven't even met to conceive the child. That's going to be the biggest person on your team one day. I got my daughter, she was in our breakout meeting. I'm like, I remember, this was a funny conversation. When I met my wife, my stepdaughter, she was 11 years old. And I had a conversation with some of the people in my base shop. I said, don't let this 11-year-old beat you to SMD. And you know what everybody said? They said, no, it's never going to happen. Those same people, some of them same people are still at my base shop right now. And my daughter has a bigger team than them, and she's about to beat them to SMD.
Come on.
11 years old. One of my best SMDs coming out was 11 years old when I met my wife. So you guys have no idea what's going going to happen and all the ripple effects and all the people you're going to impact, the death claims you're going to pay out. But right now, like a lot of you, maybe not, I don't know what group I'm talking to, but maybe you haven't made a lot of money just yet. A lot of people in WFG have. What's the one thing you got? I remember it was so fun. My first 6 months, I made $0. I came in full time right away. I shut my back door and I cut off all other sources of income so my back could be against the wall so I could fight and I could make this thing happen, right? And came in, and my first month when I came back, I recruited 10 directs and 25 on the team, and my business has been in orbit ever since. Just like Zena said about that rocket ship. It literally, you ever see them in the movies, like they go up, and then that fuel tank just comes down, it just comes falling off, and then now you got that, it can go around the orbit around the universe, or not the universe, but you know, the intergalactic whatever, right? It can go all around outer space. You just take a little fan and that whole thing can go out of space, right? It's the same thing as water. Water boils at what? 212 degrees. At 211 degrees, what do you got? Some hot water that isn't boiling just yet. You get what I'm saying? So what do you want to do? I have some people that are like, they want to experiment on how little they can do and get to the next level. And they kind of brag about that. See, when I want to boil water, I don't try to figure out how low I can get the heat and then still get it to boil. I just turn the sucker all the way up to high as it can go so I can get the job done. I think what you got to do in our business, you got to throw the whole kitchen sink at it. I get in this thing everything I got and then some. And as Art Williams says, a little bit more. See, what winners do is they just do a little bit more. When somebody else isn't reading, I'm reading. I'm getting my vocabulary down a little bit more. When somebody isn't getting their licenses, I'm studying for my securities licenses a little bit more. You know, I'm practicing my speeches. I'm practicing my how to become a better leader, how to become a better husband, how to become a better father. I'm just trying to do everything, so I do everything I can so I feel like I'm worthy of deserving success. One of the things that happens with a lot of people is if you're like most of us, we don't, from where we come from, I don't know where everybody is in this room, but I never felt comfortable in things that signify wealth. Like, have you ever been to an expensive hotel or an expensive restaurant and then kind of felt out of place? Has anybody felt like that? That speaks to our identity. I still got to work on that. I just feel like I don't belong here. I'm a blue collar guy. I come like a rough background, right? And then these people speak proper English and all this stuff. And I almost feel like, well, what if I say some slang? They might think less than me. I don't feel that comfortable. I used to think if you had a Mercedes-Benz, you were arrogant. And I started to realize that was my identity. And then after a while, this company became so much more than just financial services. I challenge you to find out what your purpose is. A goal has like a finite ending, and you can hit that goal, but a purpose is something your whole life existence won't even accomplish. So by the time you're dead, you still haven't even knocked a dent in the surface of what your purpose is. And I started realizing a lot of stuff as WFG's given me the ability to become free. Guess what happens when you become free? You're not distracted by the same thing that everybody else is distracted by. See, when you got a baby who's crying, what do? You distract them. And then they forget what they were crying about. And then all of a sudden you give them a little toy, and then you give them another toy, and then you give them another toy, and then pretty soon they forgot what, and then they're playing again. But you know, we act the same way. So now we got Instagram. Are we using Instagram to like make us better, or are we using it to look at what somebody's eating? What does that do for our life? Like, I see people with I take my kids to the park, or I'll take my kids to the swim lessons, and you just see people like this. I'm like, your kid can be kidnapped right now. Like, what is so important about that stupid phone that you ain't even looking at your child? You're not even looking at your spouse. You're not, like, this stuff can make us antisocial. Smartphones are making us stupid. You get what I'm saying? Use this for the education that it can possibly provide you. Become a better recruiter. Become a better person. Become more knowledgeable, as opposed to using this as a distraction. What is the baseball for and basketball? It's a distraction. The Golden State Warriors didn't send me any of their money. I remember one time it was like the playoffs. Golden State was in the playoffs, and then there was a big game across the bay with the Giants. And I was like, I was in the Oakland office, and in the Oakland office, everybody was like, you know what, it's the playoffs. When I had an Oakland office, they were like, they didn't make it to the BPM. And I'm like, do you think the San Francisco Giants shut down their game to watch the Golden State Warriors? Or are they playing their own game? I don't care what the Golden State Warriors are doing. This is my game. Did the Golden State Warriors shut down their game to watch the Giants? No. So we got to play this game like a professional athlete.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? Like, professional athletes, like, they monitor, like, when you think about, like, say, a bodybuilder, they weigh out how much they're eating. Because it's a game of inches at the end of the day. You go the whole year to try to have that one little cut come through so when you're ready next season, you can win, right? And that's what this competition, this is world-class competition at its finest in the financial services arena. And we all look nice and pretty and all that stuff, but on the inside, man, they're tough, they're nails, they're leather, and to compete at this stage, at this level, you got to one-up them. You got to either out-strategize them or you got to out-tough them. And I think you guys are the team to do it. I really do believe it. I seen when Peter delivered that message, the way he spoke about Leilani, you could tell he's an all-around good person. His background, where he comes from and where he's going and how much he loves your team and from Juan and Veronica all the way down and what they're doing for you guys. I think everybody needs a Peter on their team. He defined a flag carrier. We didn't even know what a flag carrier was until we seen Peter. And I was like, dang, Rob, didn't you used to bowl with this guy? You were supposed to be on my team, man. I was like, Rob, right? So sometimes, man, you have no, but you know what? It doesn't matter. There couldn't have been a better upline for you guys than Juan and Veronica to kind of coach you guys to where you're at. I remember when Clarence, one of our good friends, took me across the kitchen table. I was a brand new field trainer, and there was Juan and Veronica. And then I did my presentation, and that was like their first exposure to WFG. I was scared to death. I didn't even try to recruit Juan. See, everybody thinks I'm a recruiter. I wasn't a recruiter back then. I was a salesperson. I had to change my mindset to become a recruiter. I sold them and then walked out of the door. Guess how much of a disservice I would have done to Juan and Veronica's family if I was only thinking about me like I was at the time, but then we circled back and ended up recruiting them. But I look at it and I got to apologize to them to this day. I apologize, man. I just tried to sell you a product because I'm supposed to be a recruiter. And it's not just about me. It's not about what makes the fastest commission, because we got to do what's in the best interest of our people, right? And if a commission, I can make a sale, I'll make a commission right away, but it only changes his life maybe 30 years from now. But if I recruit him, I can change his life in the next 2 or 3 years, forever, for generations to come. One AMA can make that much of an impact in somebody's life. And a lot of you don't even realize, myself included, I'm still trying to figure this thing out, right? I'm 14 years in, still feel like I know nothing. The stuff that we really do for people. Like I look at O'Neill and Jeanette and one of the SMDs that we had in our room today, and we were kind of mentoring them. And I remember when he got referred to me and introduced to me, I didn't know that we were going to have this much of an impact in his life. You know why? Because the same interview, the same presentation I did for him was the same one that I did to somebody else who was a heckler. You know what I mean? What a heckler is when they say, this is a pyramid, it's one of those, and they start to get you to second guess yourself. And all of a sudden you do the same presentation, then you find an O'Neill and Jeanette, and they're just loyal to you from day one to the end of the world, you see? And then you say the same thing, then you find a John Sepulveda, and then he's the first person in Team Alpha to speak on a national stage. I'm like, it's the same exact presentation. And then you start to do this presentation, and you meet people like the Iretons and stuff. I'm like, man, you know? And then I get this guy, Rob, and then we start to hang out, and I'm like, what did I do wrong? The only thing I didn't do that I did wrong is I didn't do more. You know when they always ask, what would you have done differently? And they always say, I would have gone wider, faster, I would have recruited more people. That'll always be the case. So, I mean, I just want you guys to think when you come back out of this event, everybody has great intentions. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. All of a sudden, one day you find yourself roasting marshmallows with Satan. Right? How'd you get here? Now, I had good intentions. All of a sudden, you find yourself in hell, right? Look, we all got intentions to be big, but after this emotional roller coaster, after this excitement, this inspiration, this motivation, after it all dissipates, because it will. And somebody out there, see, the world is still middle class. The world still has stinking thinking. When you go out there, they're still going to beat you up. They're still going to call it a scam. They're still going to say, my Uncle Rodney tried it and it didn't work for him. And blah, and they're still going to charge. All that stuff's going to happen. Can you keep that fire inside of you? Can you keep it going all the way up until the next convention? Matter of fact, all the way until the job gets done. The job ain't going to be done by next convention. I found my purpose here. My purpose is I got to start to educate folks because they're all distracted. More than just WFG. WFG became my platform, and depending on how you want to utilize this, this is a platform for me to do big works in my life. To me, there's more to life than points and recruits. I got that part out of my life, and I want to go make an impact in people's lives even if I don't make any money. But I can't do that if I'm still trying to pay my bills myself. You know how miseducated the people are nowadays? Like I started really realizing and learning about history and all this stuff. All this stuff, man, if you've been lied to about money, what else have you been lied to about? Pretty much everything that we learn is a bunch of BS. That's why you don't feel that good when you go to these environments and then you feel out of place and then somebody else feels like they're in place, is because you've been programmed to be that way. A lot of this stuff, like you can't become part of what they're designing us to become. And I look at my son and my kids, I brought them into this world, and I thought, damn it, I didn't realize it because I brought them in here selfishly. Sort of thinking, holy, I brought them into this world. I have to do something to make this world a better place now that I brought my kids into this world. I just want a little guy to look like me. And all of a sudden my daughter's like a splitting image of me. I'm like, oh. She's pretty though. Now I go, wow, that's the Gabby in her. But I'm like, I brought these kids into this world. I got to make an impact. I got to do something to leave some kind of a stamp. And it's bigger than just financial services. See, when all the money's gone, guess what? You get to actually experience life for what it's worth. I want to go places. Don't you want to go places where almost nothing is expensive anymore? Don't you hate saying, man, that's too expensive? A darn suite at the Signatures. I just want to go places where everything's affordable. I finally did it in Costco. I could buy almost anything in Costco now. It used to be like, I just wish I could have that. Now it don't matter. I drive every car I got's a V8, all gas guzzlers. I don't even care what gas mileage is. Man, I just wanted it, the small things. But we made such an impact in other people's lives because I came to this company thinking small. I think I'm still thinking small. I still got to think bigger. But you know what? We're just gonna keep on growing and keep on. But it's bigger than just financial services. It's bigger than just an AMA. It's bigger than just a leaders bulletin. You can do something huge here. Ed Milet used to say, one day they're gonna write articles about us. We're gonna be on Time magazine, and everything that he prophesies is actually starting to happen. And then I see my daughter come into the business, and guess what? I got to reinvent myself. My daughter's like, she's seeing her parents that she thinks are winners. We got to go win all over again. Then I got my little babies, my 7 and my 5-year-old. They never seen daddy really go to work. They never seen mommy go to work. They think you're supposed to be born into wealth. And I told them one time, I said, I forgot where it was. It was the Drake. We have party nights. So we were watching God's Plan, right? We were dancing and stuff. And I was like, he gave all his money away. I was like, when you're successful, you could give your money away. And I was like, he was like, why should you do that? And I was like, because there's people out there that don't have money. And he was like, there's people out there that don't have money? Like, he looked at me crazy. He doesn't even know what the real world's like. He doesn't even know what it's a script. You got to hustle, you got to grind. And I ain't going to tell him all that. But I got to reinvent myself to show my son, because I'm a leader by example, not a leader by just talking. You see what I'm saying? And what you say or what you do speaks so loudly, nobody can hear anything that we're saying. So maybe I get credit for being a good speaker or whatever the case may be, but I'm a doer, man. You take away all the words, I'll still get the job done. And by the way, I was not a good speaker when I came here. It's the desire inside of me that made me want to be that. Because when I seen a guy like Ed, I was like, I want to be like that one day. I want to have my little swoles on one day. I was a skinny looking toothpick, right? I was like, I want to have these nice custom suits. I want to be able to command the crowd like he does. I want to have skills. I want to have money. I want to have those nice cars. And guess what? Everything this company promised me is what they delivered on, and then some. This company said, we're going to give you a 6-figure income. They paid us that in a month. I didn't sign up for that, but I'll cash the check. You know. So guys, the only thing I think we get caught guilty of in WFG is thinking too small, because the possibilities are endless. We're a baby in this convention. How come we don't have, like, we should have millions of people in these conventions. Our company is that awesome. It's that powerful. I can't even find a flaw in it. As much as I try to look, there's no flaws in WFG, other than the fact you got to work hard, but you got to do that everywhere, don't you?
That's right.
Hey, I hope your SMD speech is already mapped out, because that means you believe you're going to actually hit it. You know, I hope you understand that your leaders deserve to be a CEO MVP next year. Matter of fact, you guys might even bypass CEO, man. They might just be, you guys are probably going to be an EVC team next year.
Yes, sir.
Because you guys got this momentum. See, just, like if you got a car that is that's like at a standstill, and you try to push it, that thing's going to take some effort to get it going. But what if it's already rolling? Well, you can just put your finger on it and just keep it going. The thing will keep going, right? And you don't want to let that thing come back to a standstill and have to kick it all off again. You just want to just keep it going as long as you can. My first month coming out of convention, boom, we took off into orbit, 10 directs, 25 recruits, and we double-digit recruited every single month for my 14 years, except for 2 months, and that's because it was like 8 or 9. Why? Because I knew why I was doing it. Didn't know how to do it, didn't know what to say, came out of here, had no scripts, talked to all the homeless people on the streets. I was like I said, I was shooting craps, talking to all the tellers. I didn't know what I was doing, but they were like, this person, you're excited. I want what you got. You know why excitement works? because everybody wants to be excited. People hate what they do. When you ask them, how's your day going? They're like, well, I get off in about an hour. That basically means I hate to be here. You get what I'm saying? So when you look excited, when you look happy, when you look passionate, you know what they say? I don't care what you do, I just want what you have. And that's why it made sense, because to me it doesn't really make much logical sense. But then I realized, isn't a yawn contagious? When somebody yawns, all of a sudden everybody starts yawning. Well, excitement's contagious too. You got to learn to be excited when you're not excited. You got to learn, even when nobody on your team that you wanted to be. Matter of fact, some of you didn't have teammates that came, and when you come back, you ain't even be able to get a hold of them. Some of them. You know what? Move on. Go to somebody else. Pay attention to the ones that did count. Sometimes when you invite 10 people to a meeting and 7 flake and say 3 show up, all of a sudden our mind gets frustrated with the 7 that flaked, and we don't pay attention and give the love to the 3 that showed up. Those 3 that showed up deserve your love. They don't deserve to take the residual anger that you had on the 7 that didn't show up. Make sense? So if you can't, what do they say? If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Hey, our teams are all we got, man. You know, guess what else I found out? Our teams are a reflection of us. Anything you don't like in your team, you got to change about yourself. One day when the dust settles, your team will be a spitting image of yourself. All the flaws, everything. So guess who has to change? We do. And if I can give you one little nugget on the things that I think have, other than marrying my wife and having an awesome partner and all that stuff, right? And she is the real champion, right? So, but in terms of me, people skills. I'm still working on them, but I don't have many people that hate me. I don't have. One of the things that I've done is I've mentored a lot of people. They got some people that hate them. I'm like, you're in the business of a volunteer army. The customer's always right. Am I right?
Yep.
So imagine you were to recruit some volunteers to help you move some stuff out of your house. And it's one of your friends and your cousin, and then he bumps into something and kind of leaves a little scar on the wall. Do you yell at him when he helped to volunteer to move? You say, don't worry, I'll rub it off. Or do you say, did you look what you just did? You just helped me? No, he volunteered to help you move. But if I paid a moving company and they come and they scuff my wall up, I'm getting my refund back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Your whole team's a volunteer. And isn't it funny how they're volunteering to get us promoted? They're volunteering for us to get MVP. They're volunteering for us to get our ring. And then we turn around sometimes. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying a lot of the people that I've mentored do. How do you talk to people like that? Why did you say that to that person? That's somebody's daughter. Would you want somebody talking to your daughter like that? That's somebody's son. That's somebody's mom. That's somebody's dad. You don't talk to people like that. The golden rule I heard at this event a couple of times, that's my business philosophy. Do unto others what you want them to do to you, and don't do unto others what you don't want them to do to you. Live your life like that, and watch how people stay around you and they don't want to leave. And then constantly get better, and then take that stuff that you got, you're getting better for the benefit of your team, and then pour that into your team. That's what the business is all about. People skills. Who's always right? The customer's always right. You got to lose some battles so that you can win the war. Nobody wants another boss. They already got one. They want a leader. They want a coach. They want somebody who's there, that's setting the pace, and then encourages them. Encouragement is oxygen for the soul. That was one of my, I guess, my reputation in the beginning. All you do is edify. You can't get people, Paul, what's wrong with me? Man, you're a stud. And I don't know. I just know that you're one of the sharpest guys on our team. I just can't see what's wrong with there. I can now. I got to get that out of my head, right? Because people frustrate me sometimes. But I'm like, you know what? In the beginning when I was building my business, all I seen was the greatness in people. Because everybody got something in them that's good if you look for it. But the whole world is looking at what's wrong with everybody. Be that one person in somebody's life who looks at what's good at them. Why would they not want to keep coming to the meeting and follow you? And guess how you feel about yourself when you pour that into people? You feel good. You feel like you're living a life of purpose. Because you'll find the people that we used to be intimidated by, they don't believe in themselves. The person who's a doctor, he doesn't believe in himself in WFG. He believes, or she believes they could be a doctor. They come into WFG, they're little puppies. They're scared to death. They need belief just like everybody else. Somebody says, I don't like that recognition. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They might like a different kind of recognition. Every piece of flesh on planet Earth needs recognition.
Come on.
Everybody needs recognition. Whether it was their mom to say they're proud, their dad to say they're proud, their peers to say they're proud, their kids to say my dad's my hero. Every piece of flesh wants to be recognized and appreciated. And I just found that sometimes you see our leaders talk tough. I know I used to study Eric, and he would talk tough. Eric's he's a strategist. So he pours into people, and so I didn't realize that. So when I tried to repeat the way he would talk tough, all of a sudden it didn't work out the right way. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, you gotta, what do they say? Leaders touch the heart before they ask for the hand. Just give the people, man. You know, they're all volunteers, they're all helping us out, they're all families with souls, they're not codes, they're not just numbers, they're actual human beings. And if we believe it, I'm just telling you that because I've recruited a lot of people and I've been guilty of treating people like numbers. And as I look back, I'm glad Eric didn't treat me like a number. Like, we actually submitted my AMA paper, mailed it in, did everything the right way, because he actually thought, what if this guy actually did it? And I remember Eric told me one time, he said, my fast start, he said, you better not quit. Like, very next day. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know why he would say that. This is the best opportunity in the world. You know, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could see this business, you know, and they you that don't know, right? They could see it, man. Why would I quit this thing? Then I realized it. And I've just been with Eric ever since, all the ups, all the downs, all the bumps and the bruises. Hey, I've been here every step of the way. I'm not perfect. Why would I blame somebody else for not being perfect? But guess what's going to happen when you start to become a leader? Everybody's going to tell you what's wrong with you. Get ready. Get ready. It's worth it. And then one day you're going to surround yourself with people that, because you get to pick who you want to be on your team. Right? One day, everybody's going to wash out that you didn't like, and everybody that you did like is going to be around you, and your life's going to be a utopia. It's going to be like bliss. How awesome would it be that you're always around people that you like from now, fired up, positive, successful people that are similar to you for the rest of your life. And you just have an abundance of those people, and they're all winning and having success and thanking you for the opportunity you gave them. That's our future, guys. I think right now is like a turning point in WFG where if you don't jump on the boat, you can get passed up. I think like this year, possibly next year will be the last year. But if we don't get something going now, you could be making 100, 200, 300, 400 grand a year and never cross that stage and nobody knows who you are.
That's true.
That's going to be, it's going to be $1 million a year just to even cross that stage. And you guys, we're literally the founders right now. All of you, believe it or not, as big as this convention is, you're still in the beginning and the infancy stage of this business. Because we're about to take over this whole planet pretty soon. And you're going to say, you're going to go down in the history books and remember this meeting. Somebody moving, wearing their shoes, their feet smelling, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's all the grind in WFG, right? But one day, put it back up. I was telling O'Neal, we used to come to these conventions and there'd be guys in the room and we'd sleep head to toe, head to toe, head to toe. Until you have a guy with athlete's foot next to it, and your feet right next to your head. It's all bad. But guess what? We still stuck it out. And everything they promised us, and everything our leaders promised us, and everything your leaders promise you is going to happen, and then some. So just believe it's going to happen for you, and let's come back next year as a CEO minimum. But I believe it could be an EDC MVP team. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Give Paul Hart a big round of applause. P1. Did you guys love Paul Hart?
Yes.
Hey guys, real deal. Who got a lot of golden nuggets right there?
Yes.
Who heard something that you know you needed to hear right now? Right?
Yeah.
If you didn't get, who could say this, right? I just want you to see this. Who would say that their best golden nugget of the entire convention was just like right now?
Yes.
Nah, that's not true. Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, hard, man. You know, like, what was it like to be around this guy, you know? Let's take a picture real quick.